Greetings everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our Steampunk Spotter video series. Today, we will dive into how you can guarantee that all of your playbooks undergo through checks before execution, thanks to our integration with Ansible Automation Platform. We will start with the overview of our Ansible Automation Platform instance. It's just for testing and messing around, but it will do the job of showing the core functionalities of the new Spotter integration. If we take a look at our Git repository, we have a folder called AAP Integration Preflight, where we can see our Ansible playbook called playbook.yaml. Let's finish it and then run it within our AAP instance. I will just add the AWS region. So let's just do something. It doesn't matter, but we can see that I have some other security issues as well inside the playbook. Like here, for example, opening a 22 port to the full public IP address space. I will just put a simple commit message so I know it's just for testing and messing around. So fast commit for testing, something like that. I commit to the main branch and then return to my main repo. Okay, I have Spotter inside the CI pipelines. So if I check it out, I can see that I have 79 errors in my repository. But that's full repository. And let's say that I'm just having a bad day. So I will ignore the errors and move on. And I would just like to test. So if I want to run the playbook in my AAP instance, I have to go to my projects and then to AAP integration preflight and refresh that project. Then go back to templates. Now in the templates, I will choose the IAP preflight and I will provide some settings for my job template. First of all, I have to set the right project, the one that we updated before. I have to set my execution environment. In my case is Steampunk Spotter, and the playbook that we edited before, which is the one in the folder AAP integration preflight. Here I must be careful that I use the right credentials, not just for the machine or AWS, but also for Spotter. For Spotter, I have defined custom credentials called as nates, and the credential itself is for Spotter API. If I return back to my job templates, I can execute my job template. So I press execute and wait for the results. Let's see what will happen. Now we can see that the playbook wasn't executed because Spotter found some errors inside the playbook itself and stopped the execution. The errors are not something Ansible would detect and stop, because Ansible will run anything if the syntax is correct and you define the correct values to the parameters in the Ansible task itself. Here we can see that the errors are present, like we should choose European-based data centers in AWS, and some other issues like specifying access key as plain text, not as a variable. But one thing that is really interesting, Spotter provided a link to where I can see my latest scan and check what was my scan input and what kind of errors were triggered. So if I check the first error, we can see that we use US-based AWS region, and my company policy is that I have to use EU-based ones. Another issue was that the instance should not be in the default security group, as we have it in our case, shown here, default. Now, if I get back to my playbook, I can change the US-based region to EU-based region, and I can also see that my security group is named Web App Sec, and I will change my default security group to that one. Fixed due to Spotter checks, and I will commit to my main branch again. So if I wanna do the same action as before, now I need to refresh my project. So it gets the recent playbooks, my recent changes, and then rerun the same job template as before. Now from what we can see, I have just 4 mistakes left, and I don't have the same ones as US based region or US based region that should fail. I fixed that and I don't have the same mistakes anymore. If I take one step back and check my latest scan in our Spotter app interface, I can see the same output as I saw it in my AAP, but now I can see the code snippets as well. So I can check and share the code snippets with my colleagues, my other team members, and we can take a look at what's going on and what's with the error, what I need to change. So we'll be more aligned with the company policies. Today's session concludes here. We value your feedback, so please feel free to share any thoughts or suggestions. If you're interested in exploring the integration further, don't hesitate to reach out. And don't forget to stay tuned for any new updates.